Welcome to TalkersandGeeks.com. Justin here, and we are back with Any Gaming. This is episode 3, and today we're continuing our journey into the Robotech universe with Robotech Invasion for the PlayStation 2. This is a huge departure from last week's game, Robotech Battlecry, which was more focused on aerial combat and focusing on the Macross saga and the Veritex and Verotech battles. This one here is focusing on FPS, which stands for first person shooter for my non gamers out there. And this one is set during the second arc of the series, known as the New Generation, as they are taking on the invasion of Earth, where the human race struggled against a powerful alien force. In Robotech Invasion, you will assume the role of Locke, a soldier of the Resistance fighting against the Invid. Locke's story is one of grit and perseverance as he navigates a war-torn Earth trying to liberate it from the clutches of the evil Invid. The game's narrative does a commendable job of capturing the bleak atmosphere of the Robotech universe, with cutscenes and dialogue that emphasize the desperation and determination of the human resistance. Gone are the colorful palettes, the nice cel-shaded graphics that we saw from Robotech Battlecry. Robotech Invasion decides to go a little bit more of a darker route in terms of storytelling and in graphics and in grit and gameplay. While the game does attempt to stay true to the source material, it does struggle with the pacing and character development. Unfortunately, in terms of story, Locke is a protagonist that's what you would call a blank slate throughout the game. He's really lacking depth of the game, and it's really kind of hard for you to connect to him on an emotional standpoint. And that is probably one of the most shortcomings parts of the story. However, it does sometimes feel disjointed and certain plot points not really fully fleshed out. This wasn't really a well received game. It was kind of mid at best. But since this is Annie Gaming and I like to highlight anime video games and talk about games that really don't really get that much of a spotlight, I figured since I did Battlecry, we can do Invasion as well. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay, which was a mixed bag. As stated before, Robotech Invasion is a first-person shooter, also known as FPS, with some vehicle combat elements. And during this time, it set itself apart because you were able to pilot the Cyclone, a transforming motorcycle that can turn into battle armor. On foot, players engage in traditional FPS combat using a variety of weapons ranging from energy rifles to rocket launchers. The shooting mechanics was solid but not really innovative. I will say this: if anyone is planning to play this game in 2024, first thing you need to do after the game loads up is go to your options and change to invert into off. That way it's not down being up and up being down. For some reason, I have no idea why they decided to include this, especially when you're not piloting the Veritex. It made no sense for them to have an introvert control scheme for that. So make sure you do that and increase the sensitivity so it makes it feel more like a modern FPS. That's for those people who still want to go and play this. The inclusion of Cyclone, however, adds a unique twist to the gameplay because you're able to switch between a high-speed motorcycle, and yes, you can shoot while you're on the Cyclone, and then switch to your heavily armored battle suit on the fly, which gives players a dynamic approach to combat situations. The game has some very versatile points and allows for more flexibility when you're facing the Invid. However, despite that, the gameplay unfortunately can be repetitive. The level designs lack any variety, with many missions feeling like a series of similar objectives. Destroy the Invids, capture a point, or escort a convoy. Its repetition can lead to fatigue and you can get bored at times, especially for players who are looking for a more variety experience. And also the AI enemies is really, really basic. Like there's enemies that all you have to do is shoot them in the eye, they go down, and you start to realize certain attack patterns, and they don't really pose too much of a threat for anyone who's really seasoned in FPS. This game did at the time did also include a multiplayer mode, but unfortunately the PS2 was not really known for their online community, so there wasn't that much people to play with online in those modes as it is. However, with that being said, I still found the gameplay to be solid minus the repetition. I did still love the fact that I was able to pilot the Cyclone on a fly, just pressing the triangle, get into there. I did hate the fact that there were certain areas, like there's actual tunnels with pathways. You couldn't you couldn't drive the Cyclone. You had to go on foot. And it wasn't really a run button for you to go faster. So traversing on foot was a chore in this game, but I still had fun with it because I'm a big Robotech fan, and it's nice to see a game that was based off the new generation of fighting the Invid. Now let's talk a little bit about those graphics. Graphically, Robotech Invasion, it was released on the PlayStation 2, where it was at the height of its graphical capabilities. The game's visual presentation is a reflection of that era, and it offered a both impressive and now, of course, dated elements. The character models and environments were well designed, but however, when you get closer to characters, you can see its age, and you can see that the rendering and the textures wasn't that great. It does have some fluid animation, of course, the Cyclone being the highlight of it. The environments ranging from ruined cities to dense forests effectively convey that post-apocalyptic setting of Earth under the Invid invasion. However, the game's graphics are also a product of its time, and they show their age in several area textures. Texture resolution is relatively low, with some surfaces appearing flat and pixelated by today's standards. The color palette, dominated by muted tones, can make the environments feel dull and monotonous, contributing to the aforementioned sense of repetition in the gameplay. Additionally, the game suffers from occasional frame rate drops, particularly during intense combat scenes with a whole bunch of Invid and you're riding on your cycle. Things can dip from time to time. The cinematic cutscenes, while it's faithful to the art style of Robotech, are limited in scope, and the animation can be stiff and facial expressions. What facial expressions? So you really don't really see their mouths moves if you like talking to a particular NPC in that. Like I said, the game wasn't really that great of a review, but I personally did enjoy it. I'm just gonna be honest of what the game, what you're getting into when it comes to Robotech Invasion. However, I will say that the music is where it shines once again, just like Robotech Battlecry. Jasper is back, and he's highlighted featuring a mix of orchestrated electronic elements, I should say, that are a component to the sci-fi setting. His score really does capture that tension, that urgency of the war of against the Invid. And I love that. It's haunting. It has this ambient sound. It makes you feel like you're going through this war of desperation, and you need to really just think about how you're going to get out of this. The voice acting, doable. I mean, it's not Robotech Battlecry where they actually got original cast members to reprise their roles. This one is very limited in dialogue, and honestly, wasn't that great. The game's music, however, I will say is the highlight of it, besides the gameplay with the Cyclone and switching back and forth. Overall, Robotech Invasion, it's not the best anime game out there, and I know it's crazy to have an anime gaming episode where the game's not that good, but I like Robotech Invasion. I once I fixed the controls, I like it. Yes, it gets repetitive, but who doesn't want to kill Invids? Who does not want to save Earth? Who does not want to ride the Cyclone? And I forgot to mention, yeah, the motorcycle controls is not that great either, but this game is serviceable. It's doable. It has a lot of shortcomings, but it holds a place. It's like it holds a place in the fans of Robotech. They love this game. They like the game. It's not a critical darling. It offers a unique experience from the Robotech universe. So for that, I say check it out. Just lower your expectations. It's not better than Battlecry, not by a long shot, but it does have enough for you to go in there and go, okay, let's go kill some Invid. So this is Justin from Otakus and Geeks. This has been Annie Gaming episode 3. What did you think of Robotech Invasion? Did you like it? Did you throw it was trash? Comment below. Let me know if you ever played it. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out the rest of Annie Gaming. Check out our first 2 episodes. Episode 1, Eureka 7, Volume 1, The New Wave, and then Episode 2, Robotech Battlecry. And we have more on the way. Keep it locked here on the otakusandgeeks.com. Peace, love, and happiness. Later day.